Well, at present, I consider myself semi-retired. Still have 3 positions, all part-time. So I'm here today at Hood College in Frederick, Maryland, where I've taught since 1990, and retired from full-time teaching here just 2 years ago. But I'm still here as college organist, which has a few duties throughout the year. And then I teach lessons in organ, harpsichord, and composition for Hood students and students from the community that wish to take lessons. And since I retired from full-time here at Hood College, I picked up a teaching position at Shenandoah Conservatory University in Winchester, Virginia, where I teach the organ students there and also run the Church Music Institute, which is a 2-week summer program of workshops and also offers certificates in church music. So there's a lot of administrative and hands-on work with that. And I've always, since the age of 16, served as an every Sunday organist at a church, sometimes in a full-time position, running a full-time church music program. Currently, it's a part-time one where I'm overall music director and organist, and that's at First Lutheran Church in Ellicott City, just between Baltimore and Washington. Then on top of that, I have my unofficial duties. I lead lots of workshops and clinics and compose things that people have requested of me or just projects that I want to write. It's been a challenge. It's still somewhat of a challenge, even being semi-retired. Although sometimes now it is easier. During the years when I was full-time at the college, I always had part-time positions at the church and continued to do many other things on the side. That was always a challenge. I never made any decisions without my calendar in front of me, and I often overcommitted. I didn't overbook things on top of each other. I tried to avoid that. But I was just accustomed to doing just about everything I could. We don't understand weekends very much in our field. And as far as many of my colleagues here at the college, for example, many of them would talk about their weekends, and I would say, what is that? I sort of knew what it was. They're so different, being in a church situation and being in a classroom in a college, that they did balance out awfully well. And I would have the summers often that I would look forward to, or the school breaks, and then church breaks and things like that to make it work. So I'm accustomed to being, in many ways, overemployed over the years. But it wasn't because I didn't want to. I often said yes to anything that I could squeeze into my schedule, just because I enjoy doing it and I love the opportunities. Everyone has a different path, which is important to know. Again, I came from a small farm community, a little small, tiny little country church with no choir. Most of the people in church on Sunday, 30, 40 people, were all relatives, most of them anyway. I really wasn't exposed even to choirs or pipe organs until I was much later in my teens, actually. So my path's quite different from a lot of other people who were inspired as a very young age to do that. But as soon as I experienced that world, I knew I wanted to be a part of it. I really have immersed myself in church music, even though here at Hood College I've taught music theory and composition of many works that are not sacred liturgical works. I've taught some music history. I've taught at the master's level a course on research and writing in the humanities. Those are all very good things, actually, but I still think of myself primarily as a church musician, as a calling, and also as my main outlet for my music world. So again, my advice would be to ignore your origins, as it really doesn't matter. As long as you do immerse yourself into church music, get as much experience as you can, attend as many other worship opportunities that you can, organ recitals, other types of musical concerts, read, find everything you can find. Our new friend, YouTube, is a wealth of information. We can find so many wonderful performances and some bad ones. We can learn from the bad ones too. The way of all the opportunities for selecting music, for example, that we used to just keep our giant files of printed copies and maybe a note card library. Now all those things can be found after a few clicks. There's no excuse for not finding the music that we want and what's appropriate. Also, keeping up on things. Hardly any of us at my when I got my master's degree in sacred music, none of us were taught courses on percussion or using world music, such things as that. That's something that we had to either learn on our own through books, workshops, and really seeking out opportunities to expand our experiences. So to be forever learning is the most important part of that.